Well, I just wrote this long litany of things. I was like, Mr. Lindquist, good for you. No, but in many ways, I was thinking about when you hear things about yourself or others, you can really turn that around and say, at least they're spending so much of their energy on me. It's like, wow, even the negative ones I'm like the most happy about because I'm like, I'm in their thoughts. They must really like me. Thanks for the energy. It just kind of revitalizes me. And then they were quiet. They're like, damn it. My psychology business is like, well, I'm at McDonald's and I put the window in the background because, window pane. It's not about pain though. And then I was thinking about that impossible situation. I'm like, well, what is the impossible situation? Can you adapt to live in both negative and positive environments? Pretty much. And that's not either good nor bad. That's what it is. And so you can either learn to adapt in your negative surroundings by saying, well, I have their attention. They must think I'm important. The negative voices. Because the positive voices are like, well, they're like, well, and the negative ones are the ones that find the most intrusive ways to get to you. They're like, well, I'm going to dig into your everything. And you're like, thank you. Because I have your attention and I have your power that you gave me. Just like I said about atheists, I said they give the most amount of their power away to God when they speak about him and they speak against him, or God, not him, but God being a deity. So I'm like, if you want to give me all your attention and all your power, the negative voices, I'll listen. That's why I listened the whole time. Ask for more. No, I don't know why I did. But it makes them think about it. It makes them think, have we been wasting our time, our negative energy, giving it to the person that'll change it around? Who knows? But I did that today and they stopped. And then I was like, well, I'm in their thoughts. And that's a curse enough. It's like, now go home and think about me some more. Think about another way to get to me. And it strips their power away. And if you're being bullied at school, or if somebody's calling you names like slut or whore or garbage or faggot or dyke or kook or nigger or whatever, just flip it around on them and be like, I don't have to take that, and I'm going to take your attention and say, I have your power now. Thank you. And now go think about me some more. And that's a little bit of psychology, and it's a little bit a way to kind of protect yourself from all that negative stuff. To say, they're wasting all their energy thinking so much about me and their hatred, and I can absorb it and transform it against them and push it back at them and be like, thank you for all that energy you're feeding me, because now I know you have to think about me. It's not easy to do that. Not easy. But, and you don't have to do that, but it's just something that you might try, and there's nothing to lose from trying it, just to use that as a personal mantra, like, they think so much about me and their hatred that they're willing to give parts of themselves away, and, like, I can transform that. I can make it something different. Wouldn't that be nice? I bet you they would stop. Especially if they knew that you were thinking that. They'd be like, that took all my power away. And then you could just be like, yeah, I did. I just took it all away from you. and you're still stuck with me in your mind. And I can just be like, I can forget you because you're faceless. Not you, Stephen, or me, Stephen, or I, Stephen, but those people that want to hurt you, they're faceless. I can forget them, and they mean nothing to me, except that I have their power now. Thanks, Mother. Not my mother, but, Mother. You know what I mean. And that's just kind of some psychology. So their psychology of getting to me was wrong. Well, I wrote this long, and I'm going to call, instead of broadcasting, now I'm going to call it streamcasting. Because broadcasting makes it sound like women casting, and in like a derogatory sense. So, streamcasting or something, make up your own word for it. Call it whatever you want, And, they might come back and try something different, and it'll be like, go ahead, because I know I have your attention now, and I can transform any of that attention into something that's positive or neutral, or I know that I own it now, I'm in your thoughts more than you are in my thoughts, and that's a blessing. For you, it's a blessing. For me, I don't even know who you are, so I don't care. And it's not like that's what I wanted, but that's what I got. And thanks to all my listening, I was like, I got it in spades, all their energy. And children might understand that. And children are the magical thinkers because they're still creating their own worlds. And so they're the ones that can like capture that energy in their imagination and be like, your names don't hurt me. I can like, and then they can be free from being bullied and hurt. And they don't have to go like that. Like, well, they could if they wanted to. It'd be cute. I would love to see that. I said today they could make, the technology could make this look like whatever they wanted to. They could change it. I could be a pig, or bigger ears or whatever. They could be changing it right now. It's not live streaming. It's photo booth. It's because the live streaming or the streamcasting is pixelated so much. And I'm like, I'm on to you. Oh, I was talking about one of the tells, and I'll say it again. The ears, they get a little red when I get nervous or frustrated or mad, so that's a tell. So if you see me with red ears, you're like, are you mad? Or are you anxious? Or maybe other people have red ears when they get anxious or frightened. They get blushed right here. Are they? I can't do it because I don't smile that much. Oh, there. Or they get that. So, absorbing other people's negative energy and turning it into something positive. Wouldn't that save a lot of time? They would leave you alone. They'd be like, gosh, now I'm giving him energy? All right, I'll back off. Thanks. And, yeah, that's true. This thing says be tender. Well, it doesn't say be tender. But it says be gentle. And, just because I've had whatever kind of life I've had and I've, destroyed those temples myself multiple times, doesn't mean that I don't have a valid point of view, and doesn't mean that I'm not worth listening to. It means that I've had a different life experience, and, life is all about lots of different things. It's about things people do in their life, from getting up, going to work, going to school, going home, working, reading, writing, drinking, doing drugs, driving a car. Drugs and alcohol have been around since the beginning of time, basically. People have always found something. Well, and some of them, and part of it's human nature. Experiment. And I'm not saying that I agree with, would I want my kids to experiment with drugs? No, but I would think it's not an expectation, but I know it's a developmental phase, especially with peer pressure and with blah, blah, blah. Would I encourage them to do it? No. But then I wouldn't encourage anybody to live the life that I've lived either. And you don't have to. Would I ever say that I wouldn't do something again? I can't. I can't. And I wouldn't make that kind of promise. Well, I'm 44. So, I could be laid up in the hospital on a Dilaudid drip, and then people are like, oh, wait a minute, that's for medicine. Oh, go ahead. Or, or I could get a marijuana prescription, and they'd be like, oh, that's for medicine. Go ahead then. Or I could make my extracts of valerian root and vodka, and they're like, and it would be like, that's for medicine. Grandma used to give us warmed up blackberry brandy for coughs and colds. Well, and she didn't have a lot of it. She kept a pint for about a year. It was just and you never drank it outside of the fact that when she gave it to you, because it was considered medicine. And at one time, do you know what was in some of those medicine? Like morphine and oh yeah, go home with some morphine medicine. And in some old traditional drinks, hallucinogenics. But they were commonplace at one time. Not that they need to be now, but sometimes I think that because things are illegal, I saw this guy down at the government center kick skateboarders off, yelling at them, screaming, "You're gonna get arrested!" And I was like, why? Is it illegal to skateboard in front of the Freedom Center? The government center? Sorry. I thought it was government and we were living in a country that was free. Sorry. Crazy, right? We pay taxes. And then they outlaw skateboarding. And I was like, why is it illegal? And he goes, oh, because the bricks are so expensive. And I was like, well, why would you put... I said, doesn't the weather break the bricks and that's why they crack? Oh, yeah, but skateboarders are responsible. And I was like, so the government spent that much money on bricks that are so brittle that skateboards... And I was like, well, if you put a sign up saying you can skateboard all you want here, no one would do it. They'd be like, forget it. I'm not skateboarding there. They want us to. Losers. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I'm going somewhere else where it's illegal. Those rebels. I bet you if cigarettes had packs on it, that's it. Smoke all you want. We don't care. No one would smoke. I don't know. It's silly psychology, but they used to sell cigarettes that were called death cigarettes. They were black and they had a skull and crossbone on them. And I was like, I'm buying those. Those are attractive, But I bet you if they said, smoke all you want, we don't care if you die. They'd be like, ooh. Or maybe people would be like, I'm smoking that brand. I'm checking out early. No. Who knows? I'm in a good mood, though. Despite all the facts, I'm still in a good mood. Yeah, I just read that. I guess we're on the same page then. Oh, and I said, tricky business context. Now, can you tell what I mean by this? No expectations or no expectations? I don't know. Do you know? So you have to be careful when you read things, and so you read context, and and you might not always understand what you read, especially if it's about another person, or if it's poetry, or if it's somebody writing about the pain in their lives, or if it's about personal matters. You might miss the context that it was delivered in their life. And that's true about a lot of things. That could be true about the Bible, that there was a lot of context taken. A lot of people used Western context of this century, and they applied that to times back then, and they're like, out of context. Times were tough back then. Life expectancy was, and there was a different time, a different context. And it was written and rewritten for people to understand in their time. I don't know. I'm sure that isn't really helpful, because you're like, oh, now I have to take it into context. I have to take it into, how am I supposed to do that? I have to study history then. Maybe that would help. You're like, well, if I study history, then what if that ruins it for me? Well, then understand it in the context in which it was written, which was like, what, 1,800 years ago? Or, well, I always said it was 2,030 years ago, but who knows about that for sure. But really, in the context that it was written and by whom it was written, that's important. So is all spiritual teachings. It's important to take context of time and person and writer or translation. It'd be interesting, because I'm in that idea about words having multiple meanings buried within them. In some languages, each letter represents a word, and then you put them together and it's another word. So, and like I said, that thing about September 11th today, within September 11th is say then, timber or fall, 1-1, 2 towers. So I know they go to a fall in the fall. Interesting. It might be wrong, but I don't know. And I used Spanish to do that, and there could be other languages. I don't know any of the cuneiform languages. I said we should learn some, though. It would be interesting. And, the impossible situation is theirs, really. Because now they're stuck between their own need for getting to me and their own desire to have me absent in their thoughts. And, you can't have, I'm not leaving. I'm a fixture here. This is my home, Minneapolis. And like it or not, I'm not leaving. And I'll walk that shame and guilt around. Me. My kids aren't. They're the most beautiful things that I've created in my life, and I would do anything for them. Sometimes that means letting go for a while and talking about things that are in my life. Not that I'm talking directly to them, but it's important. I think that video, and somebody was saying that that woman that I hear sometimes, that cowardly woman who hides in the shadows, who nags at me, and I don't hear, it's like an inner voice that is like, I'm going to get you, Stephen Lindquist. I'm going to break you. And I'm like, Thanks for your power. Now go home and think about me some more. And I just dispelled her out of existence. um, what was I saying? I wish I could rewind this. Oh, and somebody was saying, well, we're going to show you in the future what you did. And I'm like, go ahead. Because I will be able to understand it in the context of the time in which it was done and say, my thinking is different now. And that doesn't mean it was right or wrong. It was mine. It was my life. And you don't have to like that. And if I'm going to say it again, if you don't like somebody's lifestyle, don't live it. That's really simple, isn't it? If you don't like the work they do, don't do their work. If you want to understand them, ask questions. And if you want to understand the kind of job they have, why don't you sign up for an internship or apply? Or ask somebody if you could shadow them for the day. Could I shadow you at work and see what you do? And then maybe you'd get an understanding of their perspective on the work that they do, their life, their inner thoughts. And I'm not just telling you that, Stephen, or me. I have shadowed people. And I've gone places where I was like, do I really have to go to OB and work there? Okay, fine. And then, who's having a C-section at 2:55, 5 minutes before my shift is done? Who? And then you've been like, that's your job. Go. Into the OR. Go. And you're like, okay, And I guess, or, doing other jobs, like waiting in Minneapolis. Prophetic. I love waiting, though. I do. That Namaste place hasn't called me back yet. Those guys over there, guys and ladies, I should say ladies and gentlemen, a lot of the meaning it isn't missed on me. I get it. And I get the contradictory nature of the human experience. I do. It doesn't mean that you discount voices because you don't like behavior. Some of the best voices are from people whose behavior you question, and you're like, that's why I told Sean, I was like, Sean, if you ever have a team of people, make sure that you have people from each sector of life and include children or teens, because they are the voices of the future, and they are the ones that are going to use the technology of tomorrow. They know what they want. They know their parents are going to pay for it. They know what they want. It's smart business because it gets technology in the hands of those who actually use it the most, which are teens and young adults. And to be honest, isn't that where you want it to go? Who cares about the 30-year-old? I mean, they buy it. But what you really want to do is get the people who are going to use it and develop it into the future, get those kids on board. In many ways, those are your best assets. And it could be a paid position or an internship or a scholarship to college, or college credits for doing it, or paid. Wouldn't that be cool if your summer job was working for Mac or IBM, and you're like, I'm on the board, I get to sit in on the board meetings, and I get to make decisions with them, and they ask my opinion, and I'm important. Thank you. And I get to tell my friends, and they tell me what they want to see, and I share it. That's what you want. I bet you technology would move a lot faster if it was in the hands of the people who use it the most. Maybe. Maybe not. I know, I said kids use it the most and target the parents for buying it. But really, kids might have some really cool ideas about adaptive technology, things that they want to see happen with technology, the types of what if you were 16 and you had an idea about this is what I want to see in technology in like a year. Wouldn't that be cool if your idea was shared? Or if you sat on a committee that decided what they were going to do with their next project? I would love that. And I think kids would love that too, because they know what they want. And adults would love it too, because they were like, those kids are smart. We could use that. And because kids are doing things with technology that we don't even know. Well, and some of them. You know. But it's true. I mean, some of the best assets to development are from children. They adapt so much faster than adults do to technology, to new situations. Youth adapts quickly. They're made for it. They are. I mean, it's part of development. They're changing rapidly, and their synapses are firing quicker. It's true. But discredit me because I'm nobody. No one important. It's not about, it shouldn't be about what you've done in your life. I mean, the bad parts of your life. It shouldn't be about you're not good enough because you did this and this. And even if I was giving these ideas away for free for other people to do, good. Sometimes that's a good idea. Sharing ideas and letting somebody else take the credit for them and letting someone else get a pat on the back. And like, that is a really good idea. I'm going to use that. I don't mind doing that because I think that's part of community building. It's part of sharing, and good things come back from that in ways that you never know. And it might not be like, oh, a pat on the back, like that was a really good idea. No one, it's not the intention to do that. I mean, if that was the intention, I would keep all my ideas to myself and like patent them and be like, none of you are getting any of these ideas. But it's not about that. It's about sharing. And a lot of good ideas come from sharing freely. It's not a great business model always, but I honestly think getting kids on the board and getting kids involved in committees for developing technology. Hold on.